right, welcome back to the Tool World Podcast. I'm your host, David Jew, and I'm here with Master Jew.
Hello there, Mr. Jew. How's it going?
Going pretty well.
We should have been back from Barcelona by now.
All right, well, this week we're going to talk a little bit about sparring in general. All right, so we're going to go over sparring, pros and cons of point sparring, pros and cons of continuous sparring, and how, the rules of the game affect it, right? So let's start with continuous sparring. What is that first?
You just keep going until the umpire says stop.
Okay, and then...
because you step out doesn't mean you should stop. Mm-hmm. The umpire should say stop, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so I guess if you step out, just keep going. That's what continuous is.
Okay, versus like point sparring, what would that be?
Yeah, I think, boy, it's been a long time. Well, point sparring would be more like when we do competition, we have regular competition, then you have your overtime competition, right? And then you have your sudden death competition. That would be your point. I think that's kind of your point sparring. Mm-hmm. In other words, the umpire sees something, the center referee thinks he sees something, and he says stop. All the corner referees will then go, if they saw a point or not a point.
And I think in a point sparring competition, only that's point sparring, I think the center ref also awards the points too. So they don't have the judges, he just...
Oh, he just...
I think so, yeah.
Is that, every
depends. Yeah, depends on the rules you're watching, but the ones that I've seen a lot of, it always seems like the center refs are awarding that point.
He overrides everybody else.
I don't know if there's anybody else.
Oh, are you like talking like maybe that WT kind of sparring?
No. They look like they wear the same gear as us.
Okay.
But they do point sparring.
Yeah, obviously I'm not watching as much as you do.
Yeah. All right, anyways, so let's jump forward. What's the pros and cons of both, right? So we're not looking at like judging or, the number of judges we have, right? But it does kind of change the game a little bit.
Absolutely.
Right? Let's start with the easy one. That's continuous sparring because that's what we do.
Right, and we've been doing it for a long time, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm trying to think way back in the 80s. Okay, so when some of the competition that I did back in the 80s, I think it was mostly continuous under ITF. But then we would go to open tournaments too, like karate tournaments, and that would be a point kind of a system. Anyway, what was your question?
So what's the pros and cons of continuous sparring?
Well, I think that point sparring could be a little bit more controlled because the center referee, not to say that center referee can't control a fight, but they're looking for specific points. I remember going to like an open tournament, and the only thing they were looking for is a punch to the body, and then they go, score! Or they would stop, score, whatever, right? You could have these kicks to the head and nothing. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then you kind of like, hey, you gotta punch him in the body in order to score. Right. In some ways, I think that might slow it down a little bit. Where continuous, I think where continuous is great. I mean, boy, it's more like, in a way, it's more like actual fighting, right? Because you can just come in there and just throw punches. You might not score the points because we want to see nice, clean points with the proper tool to the proper area. And so all of this kind of flailing around might not do that. Right. Anyway, so what's your thoughts?
Well, yeah, no, that is a common issue, right, when you have continuous sparring. And it depends on the rules that you have, too. Certain rules can dictate what you do, but when you have, like, continuous sparring, you have certain combinations that people will default to. They're, like, kind of maybe like a go-to kind of, like you said, that punch, kick.
Right.
That could be almost like a default in continuous sparring because of the way that the rules are set up. And that's what kind of dominates it in a sense, right? But you have things like point sparring where they can't really do that because if somebody gets them on that back kick while they're rushing in, well, they stop the match. So you can't really dominate someone with the hands in that way. They can come in fast with the hand, like hit them quick to get that point. I've seen them do like things where they kind of do like this block and punch, kind of like a straight fingertip thrust. They do it at the same time, right? And that like lowers a hand punch, but then that's it. There's nothing to follow up after. Yeah.
Right. No, absolutely. So it's in point sparring because you see a point, you go stop, And that's why I'm saying that it kind of slows the match down a little bit.
Right,
It
right.
kind of controls what's going on because you could go, you could have done a turning kick to the head and you're still in bounds. It was a legal attack. It's a good point. And then you follow up with a back kick and follow up with another side piercing kick. And so there's 3 attacks that hit the target and it's not going to be stopped.
Right.
And in some ways that could also be, maybe the guy's not ready for that and could be injured. Whereas in point sparring, that first technique, boom, stop.
Yeah.
Point, no point. Right?
Yeah.
So it slows it down for sure.
Yeah. I think to build off of that, you also see a lot of like aggression in continuous sparring because you can do those kind of things. Point sparring, you still have to have it, but it's probably not as much,
Right.
And maybe footwork might be a little bit bigger aspect of point sparring as well because you're kind of looking for certain situations when you're performing it, right?
Right, right.
Now, I want to jump to, what is a con? And point sparring gets no recognition within the martial art world, I think.
Really?
Well, I feel like you watch it. I see these videos that you go to the comments like, what was that? What was that side kick? What was that punch? Oh, he just tapped him. That's it, right?
Well, we get those kind of comments anyway. You guys don't even do anything. You just talk.
Well, that's true too. Yeah, yeah. But then you look at like continuous where you're like, oh man, I just watched this guy just get beat up there. And so what could you say about that? Well, at least they're getting beat up and they're not getting hit. So, I would say point sparring, honestly, they are very fast and they are good, and the things that some of these people can pull off when they're doing the point sparring is quite amazing. So can't discount them there. But what I see is like a lot of times they don't get that kind of recognition
right.
compared to like MMA, even continuous sparring, and I think a lot of people in ITF also hold this like certain pride about the type of sparring that we have, kind of like kickboxing, where it's a little heavy hitting, and so they have that kind of pride.
Yeah, I kind of miss some of the, I don't know, maybe, I think I'm only sharing what I remember, and that's not too much actually.
Okay.
I just remember seeing a little bit more I kind of think there was just a little bit more technique, just a little bit more about the kicking as opposed to just kind of this rushing idea. I kind of feel like today it's a lot more of that, like you said, a lot more aggression.
Yeah, a lot of, I think masters have said that before.
Oh, really?
It doesn't matter what organization. But what you just have to do is you just have to change the rules.
Sure.
And that's going to change it. Like I know in WT, what is it? You get another certain number of warnings. They call them kamjangs. And if you get that number of warnings, you're out.
Oh, yeah.
You get disqualified. I mean, you're out, right?
So yeah, you could prevent that from maybe a lot of this rushing kind of things by giving them a warning on that, if that was a rule. The umpires have that ability as well.
Right.
In some ways. Can I stop a fight because I thought it was too aggressive and I didn't think that there was any good techniques going on?
Yeah.
I think I could, unless the senior umpire goes, hey, let it go. Oh, yes, sir. Then just go let it go.
Right.
But I mean, I've done that
in
some umpire matches. I thought, whoa, that's too much. You're just throwing techniques. It's not even.
Yeah, but
it's not even clean. If you break it up and set it back up, break it up and set it back up, break it up, so you're slowing the match down.
Right.
And you know what, the competitors would go, oh man, this umpire's he's not going to let me go. He's making me work on a skill set.
Yeah.
In order to score a point, right?
Right. Yeah. WT, they 5 points for if you add extra 2 points if you add a spin to the kick.
Oh.
So what do you get? That's why they do a lot of spinning kicks, right?
Well, I do remember, I think General Chase said that he thought that if you block something, you should get at least a half a point.
Well, what's considered a block? I could put my hand out and block it, but that wasn't going to hit me anyways.
Maybe. But I mean, it's valid. The defense is just as important as the offense.
Yeah, but I think and it's hard to say. I mean, as time goes on, people are just getting better at sparring. People can do crazier things. You
think so?
I think they can.
Fine.
So you do have to evolve with the time. So.
No, that's true. I mean, you see that in all sports, actually, right?
Yeah.
it's like basketball in the 70s, you know, these guys were dunking. I was like, oh, wow, that was pretty amazing.
Yeah.
And today now they're like spinning 540s or whatever and dunking, flipping and dunking, whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow, okay.
Yeah.
Because we have gotten to be more athletic, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're able to do
Yeah.
certain things that we weren't able to do back in the day.
Okay. All right, well, let us know you guys' thoughts on continuous sparring, pros and cons of them. As always, don't forget to be safe,
Keep training.
and we'll see you guys next time.
Taekwondo.